If you love Baltimore sports, you'll love WNST.net.
Live at Bedonia Station, it is all brought to you by Coors Light. And we got the coach out, Brian Billick, tonight. We're breaking down the draft. Glenn Clark is enjoying a delicious Quesadilla.
It's really good.
And a nice cold Coors Light. Nothing wrong with that. Quesadillas go great with Coors Light. And I would go for the crab pretzel out here. The crab pretzel at Bedonia Station is strong. But
Coach, had you had like steamed crabs before you got hired in Baltimore?
No, I remember my my second crab dinner. Went out to the old
To the barn. With me. All right,
and,
there you
and
go.
And he did it all, so I didn't know what I was doing. Well, the first time I went out to have crabs by myself, not by myself, but doing it myself, I see a mallet, I see the crab, I figure you just smack the hell out of it.
Beat the hell out of it, right?
And finally some guy comes over and says, Coach, can we show you how to do that? Because you're making a mess.
Right.
And you're not going to ever get any crabs. So,
right.
So he showed me the peel and the shot. Yeah, so I got.
I've eaten crabs with you, and you see, I'm from Dundalk. We have a Dundalk way of doing it. It's a little different, like a dialect. You eat crabs in a very technical. You were taught in a class.
And there's a routine.
How to do it. Yeah,
there's an order, and you don't change the order.
Yeah, but when you do it on your own, it's kind of like doing your golf swing on your own if you don't get lessons. You don't really do it technically.
And then your golf swings.
Part of eating crabs,
sucks.
it's part of it is getting the cuts and the blood and everything. I mean, you want to have battle scars after you sit down.
How many stabs do you get? And then you get the Old Bay in there and it starts stinging.
Oh, it really burns.
Yeah.
That's part of the whole experience.
I was just introduced to it's my afternoon snack. Popcorn with a little Old Bay on it.
Oh.
Outstanding.
Anything with Old Bay on it's
good. Just put a little Old Bay on the popcorn about 3 o'clock.
Perfect.
Great.
You haven't found yourself somewhere else in the country and asking someone there, like in a restaurant, do you guys have any Old Bay?
I got to a true story. I'm in Chicago. I won't tell you the name of the restaurant. Don't want to embarrass them. But I'm sitting there, and I got a Bears game. And I'm just come from...
The game?
No, in my home.
Oh, okay.
On the Chesapeake. And the guy's there, he's going, and he's giving the list. We got this, we got that. He says, but you got to have the crabs. We got the absolute best crabs in the country. I go, wait a minute. My butt was on the Chesapeake about 5 hours ago. Do I want the crabs? He pauses, he goes, get the ribs. He panicked right away.
I took Mike Messina out one night back when he was a pitcher to eat crabs, and he refused to eat them. He said, dude, I make a living with my fingertips.
Really? Oh, it was kind of...
He's a pitcher. Right? He said, I make a living with my fingertips.
Yeah, a blister, and he's out for 3 weeks.
Warren Moon was absolute to the point of obsessive about his fingernails. Constantly working and trimming. They had to be just the right length on his fingernails.
Because it affected football?
Just, I don't know. I guess. It was just, he had to have that feel, that touch. They had to be a certain length. Couldn't be too nubby. Couldn't be too long. He was constantly with his fingernails. It was interesting.
That's what it is when you're Hall of Famer.
That's right.
That's the way it goes. That's the way it goes.
You mentioned Warren Moon. Let's get into the first round of the draft. And a guy it's hard to make a comparison for Cam Newton. It's really funny because I think Cam Newton, you want to compare him to other mobile quarterbacks. There's this natural feel to say, let's compare him to Michael Vick. Let's compare him to Donovan McNabb or Warren Moon. But I was sitting with the scout last week and he said, the better comparison is Ben Roethlisberger because of his size. Is that fair?
Yeah, that'd be great. This guy has and I've been critical of Cam Newton. Did not think he was worthy of the first pick. Now, having said that,
what is he worthy of in your mind? If it's not, because with quarterbacks, do you take him at 12? Do you take him at 18?
I have questions whether he can be that franchise quarterback.
So it wouldn't matter where you take him,
in
right?
the first round. I don't know. Now, I will say this: he's got a better throwing action than either Tim Tebow or Vince Young.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a positive. He's obviously got the physical size. He's a smart young man. He really is. And even though I have a lot of questions about his off the field, the entourage, the way he approaches it, the priorities for him, he's handled a lot of stuff. So it shows some mental toughness there in dealing with all this. So, yeah, if I'm Carolina, I think it's a risk. I have questions about whether this guy, for just the things you said about, I'm not sure whether his abilities will translate into the NFL. But he's a gifted athlete, and he's, again, going to Carolina. He doesn't have a group of receivers there. Now, they'll have a running game, right? He doesn't have the Joe Flacco or Matt Ryan luxury of, okay, I only have to throw it 20, 25 times in my rookie year because these other things will compensate for what we're going to do. And he's on a bad football team. That's a tough combination.
if you're Ron Rivera, as someone who was tied to a quarterback here, if you're Ron Rivera in your first year, are you comfortable saying everything that I do is going to be immediately tied to the success?
Well, you have to be tied to somebody, right? When you're the coach, every coach I've ever talked to, from Mike Nolan taking the job in San Francisco, they all said they learned from you. The one thing that they don't want to do is not have a quarterback.
Right.
If you don't have a quarterback, you can't win.
So take the shot. And for Andy Reid and Donovan McNabb, it worked. For a long list of others, it didn't. You look at Jack Del Rio. You got to feel for Jack. Blaine Gabbert is a great pick. It's a great organizational pick. But let me get this straight. Jack Del Rio's been told by ownership, you got to be in the playoffs this year. And we're going to take a quarterback with the 10th pick.
Right.
And we're going to get rid of our second-round draft choice on top of it. So you basically got to go back with what you got. And you got to do it with a rookie quarterback.
That's double down, right? Pretty much.
Wow. That's a tall order.
If you love Baltimore sports, you'll love WNST.net.